Hey, did you know since Jasmine Crockett lost her district, she's running for statewide office now? And she put out a campaign ad. Let's take a listen.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. There you go, right there in black and white, folks. Yeah. I think that's the best campaign ad I've seen in a long fucking time. Cue the music. How we doing out there, folks? How we doing? All right. So today's episode is called Missing Saturdays. You know what? And I really do miss Saturday mornings. I miss the Saturday morning cartoons. I miss really a lot of what Saturday morning was. Saturday morning was just more than just cartoons. Saturday morning was it was learning for us. It was, we were getting up in the morning still, even though we weren't going to school, because we wanted to see the new cartoons that were coming on. And those cartoons got us involved in other things. They got us involved in the toys that we were buying, right? So the cartoons gave us backstories for our toys. We didn't have to make up our own backstories. We just made up new stories to go along with the backstories that was already given to us by these toys. He-Man was such a phenomenal fucking toy. G.I. Joes were so fucking phenomenal. G.I. Joes gave us fucking diversity because there was everybody and anybody that was on the fucking Joes. And then you had diversity on the bad guys too, which means anybody could be a fucking good guy or anybody could be a fucking bad guy. Doesn't fucking matter in which, you know, it gave us fucking critical fucking thinking. It gave us, you know, learning how to discern certain things to where we could actually recognize the bad and the good in certain things. It gave us fucking lessons toward the end because too many people were complaining about too much just stupid hijinks and goofiness on the fucking cartoons, right? Because in the 1970s, that's a lot of what it was. Back in the 60s and the 70s. But then in the 1980s, they started putting in a little bit of education. You would get One to Grow On from NBC, little shorts. I think it was NBC that did it. ABC had one that they had as well too. NBC had The More You Know, and ABC had One to Grow On. And then I think CBS had something as well. CBS had the old 1970s fucking Schoolhouse Rock and shit like that. Dude, there were so many things. It was the Generation X and the fucking millennials and that grew up on a lot of this, because the millennials had the handouts for what the Generation X had, and the Generation X had the fucking goofiness from some of the fucking boomers and stuff. But we came together over those fucking cartoons. We talked about it at school. We played with our friends because all of us watched the same cartoons. So all of us knew the backstory so we could play the different characters. We used our imagination. We had creativity, right? Because after our morning block was done, we went outside. We didn't have these electronic devices that we were fucking connected to the entire fucking time everywhere we were going, fucking monitoring us and brainwashing us on a regular fucking basis, right? Saturday mornings was just, it was something else. Absolutely. Kids nowadays, there's no real way to define it. And kids nowadays will never truly comprehend what it was. And Saturday mornings do nothing but right now live in nostalgia for us. And what killed Saturday mornings was our government. You could say it was the fucking streaming networks. You can say it was the 24/7 cartoon networks, but I disagree. I disagree with that because of the fact that it was the shows if the shows had quality, they got you to watch. Right? Because just think about it. We had 3 different networks, and later on came 4 in the 90s, right? 4 networks. And then later on, it was 5. Because Cartoon Network is even trying to compete in some of this, right? We had Fox that came out in the 90s. And Fox was doing their Fox Kids. In the 80s, you had your 3 majors. You had your ABC, NBC, and CBS, right? And then later came Fox. And then Cartoon Network tried to jump in on it. But the thing is, if you had good quality programming, it would bring in the viewers. It didn't matter what channel it was on, right? The only thing that was hurting the 24/7 cartoon channels was the fact that you had to pay for the cable service. Fox, you didn't have to. It was a local channel. But you have to remember that it was still competing networks. So it doesn't matter. The only thing, like, if Cartoon Network really wanted to do in the competition of the Saturday morning cartoons and not even try to compete on the Saturday morning, they could show shit in the Saturday mornings and they could show the better stuff in the afternoons to bring the kids over after they get through watching the fucking mornings. Right? But thanks to the government involvement, trying to enforce something that was already being done on a better level of what they were going to push. And in turn, pulling the advertising dollars, which helped push and promote that Saturday morning cartoon. They said they were doing it for your own good because you allowed your children to have this block of entertainment, but that block of entertainment was not good for your kids because it was just doing advertising, right? It was just trying to sell toys the entire time. That's horrible. You can't just fucking sell toys to kids when they're watching their cartoons. That's just wrong. You can't fucking do that. Why not? You can sell fucking erectile dysfunction and heart pills to old men watching fucking football, right? You can sell fucking all kinds of fucking shit. Pharmaceutical ads on a regular basis during football, during golf, during news, right? You got fucking housing, you got vacuum cleaners and fucking cleaning supplies and all kinds of shit being shown during daytime TV shows, during soap operas, during The View, right? Things that are making for better household and homemakers and everything else, whether you're male or female, it doesn't fucking matter. But they're selling things for the homemakers during the daytime TV. Right? They're selling things for going out to dinner during the evening time TV. They're selling what it's called a fucking key demographic for a goddamn reason. Right? It's okay to have fucking key demographics whenever you're doing all these other fucking channels and shit, but you can't have a key demographic when you're selling to kids because, well, the kids don't know better. The kids don't understand. Well, you know what else the kids don't do? The kids don't make the fucking purchases most of the goddamn times because the kids don't have the fucking money. It's up to the goddamn parent to pay for the fucking thing. So why are we going to take away all these goddamn fucking entertaining and fucking educating goddamn cartoons that are doing us good, that were giving us critical thinking, that was giving us the fucking diversity that we were looking for, that was giving us the fucking thought process that we needed to create, use our imaginations, and to fucking discern situations so we can understand and take the better path in fucking life? No. We've got to dumb it down because we're going to start dumbing down our goddamn kids in fucking school too. This is what happens when you get government involvement in anything that's already functioning. All right. We're going to take a look at what killed Saturday morning cartoon. Well, it started off in the 1990s. So in 1990, according to Google AI over here, it says the primary law impacting Saturday morning cartoons was the Children Televised Television Act of 1990, the CTA, which mandated that the broadcast network air specific hours, originally 3, of educational and informational, the E/I that you would see in the corner of the fucking your TV. And limited advertising during children's shows, leading networks to replace toy-focused cartoons with EI cartoons and ultimately shift away from traditional cartoon blocks due to the competition and evolving viewing habits. That's what it was. They wanted to give you more educational stuff, right? It wasn't good enough that you can learn a lesson from the He-Man cartoon that was entertaining while adding moral decision making within that fucking episode and keeping it entertaining for you. They have to fucking dumb it down and do these little fucking instructional fucking shows and these little fucking demonstration shows and just make it really fucking stupid. Right? It wasn't enough. I can guarantee you, if you go to anybody that was born from 1970 until 1990, maybe even then, let's say 1985, 85, right? From 70 to 85, anybody born within that time frame. If I looked at you and I said, and knowing is half the battle, your immediate response would be screaming out G.I. Joe or singing out G.I. Joe. Why? Because we were given a fucking lesson at the end of every goddamn episode, right? And these lessons weren't just 1 + 1 = 2 fucking basic mathematics. It was lessons in everyday fucking life, not just dealing with fucking strangers, not just dealing with fucking violence, but dealing with fucking bullies, dealing with animals, dealing with fucking construction sites, playing in areas you don't fucking belong. Common goddamn fucking sense. Something that's not so fucking common anymore. But the government got involved. Educational mandate requires stations to serve the educational and informational needs of children, and requirement that became part of the licensed network's renewals. So because if you aren't providing what they feel is fucking enough and necessary for these fucking kids, then you're going to lose your funding. You can't renew your license. We're going to make it difficult for you. Plus, you can't advertise to the kids anymore, so you're going to lose your fucking funding on that. I mean, let's look at some of the fucking Saturday morning cartoons we had. This was, when did we lose the Saturday morning cartoons? We lost them in 2014. So it was a gradual decline. You could see the gradual decline, right? 1992, NBC shifted away from cartoons towards the live-action teen shows and educational blocks. Right? 1990s, the Children's Television Act required more educational programming, influencing networks to replace the cartoons. So in 2000s, other networks like ABC and Fox phased out of their cartoons, leaving the CW for the last base of action. 2014, CW's Vortex block ended, concluding the broadcast era through cartoons, though cartoons remained on cable. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, streaming services, so forth like that. Now, according to Google, it says why the cartoons ended. It says kids migrated to the dedicated kids cable channels like Nickelodeon and later, the internet reducing viewership for broadcast blocks. This is because they switched over to the 24/7 cable networks and got away from the regular channels because they didn't have the same FCC requirements on those fucking cable networks. Because it's cable, it doesn't have to follow the exact same FCC rules that broadcasting channels do, regular broadcasting. Which means they can have their toy advertisements all over their fucking channel. Which means they can have non-educational fucking shows, which is what they started putting out. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love my Ren and Stimpy. But we go from fucking G.I. Joe to goddamn Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was entertaining to me because I was already older. I was damn near, I was an adult already, pretty much. That's why I found it entertaining. But it was being played on Nickelodeon. The kid's half my goddamn age. It's right here all in front of us. It's been slowly fucking dying. What did I have in the 1980s? Thundar the Barbarian? Oh, it was too violent. Even though he dealt with real fucking issues and he was the goddamn hero fighting the evil. Thundercats. Oh, too violent. They had real life fucking adventures and scenarios that were dealing with morals and choices. Smurfs. Power of a group. Power of friendship. Right? Because we had Care Bears. We had Muppet Babies. We had Gummy Bears. 1985. What was our cartoon lineup like? We still had Muppet Babies. We had Garfield and Friends. Ooh, we had Dungeons and Dragons because, oh my God, devil worshiping, whatever. We had Bugs Bunny, Disney's Adventures of Gummy Bears again. We had Star Wars droids. We had Super Friends that was still coming on from the 1970s. We had Transformers. We had G.I. Joe. We had She-Ra. Hulk Hogan's Rockin' fucking Wrestling. 1990s, this is whenever we get up to Bobby's World because we're trying to make things a little bit more inventive. And we're trying to make things a little bit more modern for the 1990s. Movies are getting more cartoons. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Right? Peter Pan and the Pirates. Disney's push. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was on Fox. Fox was that edgy one. Right? It gave us the Bobby's World, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Peter Pan and the Pirates. But you know what else we had? X-Men. Comics was getting the proper treatment that it needed. And comics, I'm telling you right now, X-Men comics are one of the best ones. If you want fucking diversity in the world, X-Men comics is right there. Of course, these woke motherfuckers won't see it for what it really is. They're going to twist it and can pervert it to whatever they need it to be. We had Batman, the animated fucking series. Yeah. This was the start of the comics, where people started getting back into reading comics again. Right? Tiny Toon Adventures, Tasmania, Darkwing Duck, Animaniacs. Animaniacs was one of the most educational fucking shows around. And on top of that, it had the subtle adult jokes that were needed to get the parents to sit down and watch it with the fucking kids. And even teenagers could catch on to the fucking jokes. It had the slapstick for the kids. It was one of the perfect fucking shows. All of it's gone. All of it's destroyed. Early 2000s. It was the last stretch. We had Jackie Chan Adventures, Static Shock, Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond was fucking phenomenal. X-Men Evolution. I mean, Kids WB was trying to push it. Trying to keep it going. But you couldn't find the money. You couldn't find the support. So we destroy the fucking cartoons, the entertainment for the kids. And then we start fucking tearing up the schools thanks to the No Child Left Behind. And we start fucking up all the schools. See, the thing is, a lot of people like to say those who don't learn of history are doomed, or learn history are doomed to repeat it, right? See, words fucking matter. When they say those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it, you're missing a word. The word is from. See, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Because when you say it like that, you can twist and alter history and pervert it to your own agenda. See, there is an agenda. And you fall victim to what you were intending to teach. because you didn't learn from history, you allowed them to change history. And when they do that, and it's not necessarily complete altering of what was initially written, it can be just minute subtractions or removing certain timelines or just focusing on certain timelines as well. This is a 3-minute video right here. I'm trying to see which one I want to talk about, honestly, because here's a little 2.5-minute video. And this is a little breakdown of exactly what's happening in our schools now. And it was slow to start back in the 1970s with certain movements, 60s and 70s. But in the 1990s, on that No Child Left Behind, this is where it really came into play. And this is where they drastically altered the way that they teach your children. And it's for a specific reason. And we'll listen to it. 2.5 minutes. Bear with me.
Here is how the rich and powerful have manipulated the school system to give their children an advantage over the rest of ours. Because in public schools, our children are taught to repeat after the teacher and repeat what's in the textbook. To demonstrate they can do that on a standardized test, and if they can, they get an A+. They are the smart kids, but what they really learned is that truth comes from authority. Opposed to the kids of the rich and powerful who learn grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Grammar, up until 5th grade, is the rules of language and that words have meanings. You have to define your words. Logic, between 5th and 8th grade, logical thinking, basic ABC logic, and the logical fallacies, how to identify common manipulations within arguments. And rhetoric, which is the art form of emotional communication, the art form of persuading. How do you take an argument and win over a crowd? How do you lead a room? So in public school, children are taught to repeat, to follow, and to obey. They are being trained to be the worker class. But in elite schools, children are taught to think, taught to lead, taught to persuade. They are being trained to be the managerial class.
This is how it breaks down. This is from Brett Pike on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You can follow him at Classic Learner on X. I highly recommend it. He's extremely intelligent. He does a lot of breakdowns. And this is all by design. And it's for fucking reason. They want to create ignorant, dependent voters. And I think I'm going to get more into that in the next show, but keep this one short because we're already at 25 minutes. If I didn't, this episode will probably be like an hour and a half long. So I'm going to keep it short, nice and neat. And just, I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of how I want to finish this because, I mean, it's a hell of a situation that we're fucking living in right now. It really is. Every time the government gets involved, things go to shit. Right? every time, take for example, you can buy 65-inch TV for less than $1,000 right now. Why? Because government never tried to make TVs affordable. If you have a plumbing emergency, you could pay the price, but you can have a plumber in your house within an hour. Why? Because government never tried to make plumbing affordable. Government tried to make our companies better. Now we're fighting against corporate greed and corporate control. Everything that they want to blame Trump for has been involved in our fucking government for years, and the whole fucking reason why Trump even got into office in the first fucking place. Because of all this corruption. Government tried to make healthcare better. Then they turned around and fucking mandated it, saying you have to have it while everything is going up higher, and they're blaming each other when it was all part of the fucking plan. Because they're all getting paid by these insurance companies and these pharmaceutical companies that were making mad fucking bank off all of the goddamn consumers and sick people. Government tried to make your food healthier. Next thing you know, food gets more fucking outrageously expensive. The real healthy food gets really fucking expensive. And all of our fucking cheap foods that are killing us, which they were allowing, the FDA was allowing to add more and more fucking chemicals and dead fucking bugs for coloring and all this other shit in our goddamn food that made us fucking fat and unhealthy. And it added money to the fucking insurance companies, to the hospital companies, to the fucking pharmaceutical companies. Every time the government gets involved and tries to make an improvement, it gets worse. Why does it get worse? Well, because the government makes money off of it. If you remove the ability to profit from political office completely, look through all fucking loopholes, look through all fucking guidelines, look through every fucking thing. If you completely remove the ability to profit off of a political office, we won't have this issue. You see, you have non-compete contracts in government. Why do you think it costs so much goddamn money to do something that would cost you half of the fucking money to do it by yourself? But because the government does it, it costs extra money. They say, well, they're given a budget and they got to spend up to that budget. And if they don't, they're going to lose. No, the budget increases every goddamn year. It's because they're making contracts with their friends who give money as campaign contributions through super PACs and every goddamn thing else. If you make, let's say if somebody's in political office and their entire finances, I think all finances should be audited on a quarterly basis for everybody in political office. Now, I'm not saying that the public deserves to see the financials for everybody in political office. That's because there's some things that is your own fucking private goddamn business. And I get that. But I think it should be investigated and should be up for review every fucking quarter. Because if you're profiting, we need to know why. Is it legit or not? Follow the fucking money. That's it. If you can't see by now that this is not a left versus right, This is an us versus them. And believe it or not, I don't agree with everything that he says. I don't agree with all the decisions that he makes. But Trump is one of us. And mind you, J.D. Vance, I honestly believe is possibly one of us. And when I say us, I mean those that are not in the game. The political game. That are actually one of the people that want the betterment for this fucking country. We've got crooked elections. We've got crooked politicians on both fucking sides. And I understand that the what we're fighting against runs deep within the veins of all government. There's people that are actively working against Trump and what he's trying to do and what we fucking voted for, not only in the Republican Party, but probably within Trump's own fucking administration that we still don't know about. That's how fucking difficult it is, because we have to make sure every fucking thing is right, because you have all these fucking activist judges. And it's getting to a point to where our own representatives are working so bad against us that nothing could get done. And if they can reveal all the fucking findings and the investigations all they want, I don't give a shit. Revealing and talking about it is not following through with it. There needs to be some arrest. There needs to be real action happening. And my personal opinion, I think it's going to have to take martial law. It's going to have to. Because the whole fucking Congress is fucking corrupt. The entire fucking Congress. If not all of it, I would say at least 90% of it. 90 fucking percent. Senate and House. Both. Fucking corrupt. And if you want to get anything done, you have to get them out. Now, everybody's screaming that the Democrats are possibly going to win in the primaries because the Republicans won't take fucking action. No. No. We have to primary these motherfuckers. We have to put real people in office. People that will stand up. People that will speak up. People like fucking Tina Forte in fucking New York. That we didn't fucking vote in. Either way, it's going to come back to us. Either one of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to stand up at the polls and start making our votes active and heard, or you're going to have to stand up at your front porch with your gun when they come to try to take it. I don't know what else to tell you. Because every time the government tries to make anything better, it always gets worse. Trump is trying to remove government involvement, and Democrats want more of it. So, I'm hoping our last stand is going to be held at the polls and not on the porch. That's just all I'm saying. I got hope for the future, though. I do. Who knows? Maybe one day soon, we can have Saturday morning cartoons again. That would be nice. See you next week, folks.